Ben Simmons, the kid at LSU. Did you see the numbers he put up last night? He's the best passer in the country.
The best all-around prospect since LeBron.
He'll be the clear-cut number one pick. People will be tanking like crazy.
Bro, 5 years ago, Ben Simmons was a problem. All-NBA, leader in steals, all-defensive first team. Philly had them as their guy, but somehow, we just stopped talking about him.
The kid's just shut down.
His work ethic is maybe questionable.
It's dirty business.
He's going to be out a while.
I'm not scared to take the free throws.
I'm picking on Big Ben today.
And we all understand why. He was supposed to be next up, then everything fell apart. He was being compared to players like LeBron and Magic.
Who are the NBA players that you would legitimately buy a ticket for to go watch because you find them entertaining?
Ben Simmons, because I would want to learn how you can make $80 million and play 55 games.
Today in 2025, he's barely an afterthought.
I'm tired of coming to the game and you just sitting there not doing nothing. I'm getting paid. That's how I feel.
In Game 7, when that jump shot went in after 4 bounces and knocked the Sixers out of the playoffs, the first guy everyone blamed was Simmons.
How did one of the league's most unique players disappear so fast? Think back to 2020.
The NBA is resuming the season here.
Professional sports are working out ways to come back.
The NBA was coming out of the pandemic. The Lakers were on their way to a championship, and Ben Simmons was one of the most dominant two-way players in the league.
He's going to crash every time. Oh, beautiful slam by Simmons off the feed by Milton.
He was an all-star, an all-defensive first-team selection.
I do feel like I'm the best defensive player in the league. I can guard 1 through 5.
And a guy running the Sixers offense alongside Joel Embiid. At just 23 years old, he was a 6'10" point guard who can guard every position, control the pace of the game, and drop a triple-double on any given night. And now, Ben Simmons has bounced from Philly to Brooklyn to LA, fighting for relevance in a league that seems like it already moved on from him.
Just received a text from somebody very, very close to the situation in Philadelphia about Ben Simmons. This is a quote. This is not me. This is them. Quote, he doesn't work, he doesn't listen, and everyone around him is family, and he's constantly babied.
So how does a dude go from being a future of a franchise to a player who had been bought out just in a few years? Like, how do you go from being the next big thing to just a small piece that nobody talks about?
The key thing there is Simmons drives it right back.
In the 2016 NBA Draft, the Philadelphia 76ers select Ben Simmons.
Was it the injuries, mental struggles, the playoff collapse? And now that he's on the Clippers, can he actually revive his career? Or is this the final stop before he's out the league? This ain't just a throwback. This is the rise, fall, and final shot for Ben Simmons, the all-star the league forgot about. Let's break down the year before his peak, the peak itself, and near after. Because that stretch tells you everything you need to know about how he ended up here in 2025. Picture Ben Simmons in 2019. He just come off a flashy rookie year campaign. And now he was stepping into a bigger stage, earning his first All-Star nod at the age of 22. Everyone was buzzing about the Sixers' dynamic duo, Embiid and Simmons. Philly fans genuinely believed they had a future dynasty coming together.
Goal of the game for James Johnson on his second attempt. Up top, Embiid from Simmons.
In that 2019 season, Ben started getting all the attention for all the right reasons.
Simmons, beautiful finish off the line.
He was a 6'10" point forward who didn't just pass well. He made plays that looked straight like it was out of a Magic Johnson mixtape.
My opinion has not changed about Ben Simmons. I believe that Ben Simmons is a superstar in the making.
Yeah.
I believe that Ben Simmons is a jump shot away from the Philadelphia 76ers winning the title.
Grabbing boards, going coast to coast, and dropping perfectly executed passes to orchestrate the offense like it was routine.
I see Ben Simmons. I see the Greek freak.
Yeah.
I see an unusually tall point guard or point forward.
From day one, his defense stood out, locking down guards who had no answer for his size and lateral quickness. Even though he barely shot from outside, it almost didn't matter. His speed in transition was lethal, his vision unmatched for someone that tall, and he rebounded like a power forward.
And oh, by the way, I'll tell you the number one thing I've come to love about him, his attitude. He don't give a about nothing. I mean, he is fearless, he ain't scared, he's a rough rider. He's a dog, and I mean that in a very, very good way.
Then came the playoffs. Philly's run ended painfully against the eventual champions, the Toronto Raptors. Thanks to that Kawhi Leonard Game 7 buzzer beater. But Ben Simmons still posted solid numbers throughout the series. Nobody was blaming him for that exit. Instead, the media and the fans were saying, he's only 22, just wait.
Ben Simmons, it's like he doesn't want to shoot during games.
Do you like his game?
I mean, I'm not in love with it, but I like it. I like it. So it's not like,
it's
ooh,
not
wow.
your game.
Yeah, it's not ooh wow. He's not like a ooh wow.
The hype was real and it felt warranted. In 2019, Ben Simmons wasn't just a rising star. He was the prototype for the next evolution of the NBA point guard. Tall, fast, and positionless.
So Richard, Simmons says he's the best defender in the league. You buying that?
Well, look, I believe that he believes that 100%. And this is one thing that he said. Name another player that typically can guard 1 through 5.
It set the stage for what many believed would be an MVP level leap the following season. Now, we land on 2020. The year where all the just wait talk seemed to pay off. Think about it. He was an all-star again. He made the all-defensive first team. He snagged a spot on the all-NBA third team. People were tossing around those LeBron and Magic comparisons like they were inevitable. This was the season Ben Simmons officially arrived. Take the raw athleticism from 2019 and add more playmaking polish, more defensive assignments, and bigger responsibilities in crunch time. Suddenly, you had a 6'10" Swiss Army knife who could lock down the opponent's best scorer, whether that was a lightning-quick point guard or a bruising forward. According to Zach Lowe at ESPN, Ben Simmons was quote-unquote borderline elite and helped defense and posted some of the best deflection numbers in the league.
If you look at the league and you look at this team, do you say, oh yeah, I see this team winning a championship at some point?
Philly took that success into a solid regular season.
Embiid rolling and he slams for 2.
At least before the pandemic hit and the bubble happened.
Court lock for 3. Yes! Wow! Sensing a possible career high. It's for 3. Yes!
For anyone that remembers this season, knows it was more than just stats. There was an aura about him. Analysts talked about the insane possibility of him adding a jump shot. We all dreamed about this.
Ben, because I've seen Markelle Fultz improve his jump shot. Lonzo Ball is a jump shooter. Giannis Antetokounmpo has a three-point shot. This to me is the great mystery in the NBA, is that Ben Simmons, after all these years, still does not have any semblance of a jump shot, never mind three-point range, a pull-up jump shot.
Imagining him with a consistent free throw or even a mid-range game. We all know if this happened, he would have became unstoppable. Philly was all in, dreaming of a future where he and Embiid would dominate the East for a decade. It wasn't a matter of if he'd be great, but how great he'd become.
I do think that Ben Simmons is probably the best player on the Philadelphia team because he does so much and he makes all the players better. He allows other players to flourish because of what he can do as a basketball player. A lot like LeBron, very dominant on the offensive end, a lot of downhill. He's one of those guys that when the floor is open, he will flourish.
Ben Simmons in 2020 wasn't just a star. He looked like a generational talent who'd owned the league for years. And the only thing anyone was worried about was, will this guy ever shoot threes? Everything else felt solidified.
By the way, and said, listen, we need you to shoot threes for our team to space the floor to help everybody. If you don't, I can bench you.
Ben Simmons was on the verge of something special in 2020. But instead of rising, 2021 flipped the script and sent his career spiraling. Right away, 2021 had some great moments for Ben. Another All-Star selection and continued dominance on the defensive end. By mid-season, Philly was rolling under Doc Rivers, locking down the top seed in the East. On paper, they looked unbeatable. Embiid was playing like an MVP, and Ben Simmons was locking down the league's best players.
It means a lot, I believe in my ability to make this team better and help win a championship, and I think we have the pieces to do it.
Then came the playoffs, and the Atlanta Hawks series. Suddenly, all of those glowing reviews about Ben Simmons' defense and passing didn't matter, when in Game 7's closing minutes, he passed up an open dunk.
The game is in your head. That's a dunk for Ben Simmons right there. You got it, and I know you got to decide what you got.
You're so smart. You're so effing smart.
That single moment changed everything. You could almost hear every Sixer fan collectively losing it, saying, bro, why didn't you go up? The backlash was immediate. Doc Rivers made post-game comments implying Ben might not be a championship caliber point guard. Embiid even mentioned that pass, that play, was literally a turning point.
Well, it could be the most improbable, shocking loss in Philadelphia sports history.
The stretch, listen, we scored 19 points and gave up 40. So it's on us, it's on all of us, it's on me, it's on the players, and we have to figure out how to get back up, which we will, and bring this game back here for Game 7.
Philly's passionate fan base lost it. Articles from The Athletic and the Philly Inquirer question his commitment, mentality, and refusal to expand on his offensive game. The meltdown overshadowed his entire season. By the offseason, Ben demanded a trade, citing mental health concerns and feeling thrown under the bus. The love in Philly disappeared fast, and it all boiled over when Ben Simmons ghosted training camp. Within months, he was gone, traded to Brooklyn for James Harden in early 2022.
For me, that was never, the mental health has nothing to do with just the trade, It was a bunch of things that I was dealing with as a person in my personal life that I don't really want to go into depth with. But yeah, I'm here now, so it's a blessing to be in an organization like this, and I'm just looking forward to getting back on the floor and
from that moment
and building something great here.
The legend of Ben Simmons, the next Magic, was effectively dead. Brooklyn was not what we all thought. Injuries and lackluster play made him an afterthought. Now, with the Clippers, he's got one last shot to prove he's still NBA material. In 2021, one decision in a critical Game 7 tore apart the faith that fans, teammates, and coaches had in him. That was the tipping point from the "he just needs a jumper" to "he might not have the mindset for big moments." Everything unraveled, and he's never been the same since. From the promise of 2019 to the peak of 2020 and the stunning collapse in 2021, Ben Simmons' story is a roller coaster of talent, hype, and heartbreak. This is the kind of story that belongs in a 30 for 30. How Ben Simmons went from a future NBA royalty to a lesson in what happens when confidence collapses under pressure. Whether or not he could resurrect any of that all-star form on the Clippers is anyone's guess. He's shown flashes, but the NBA's already evolved around him. So the question is, can he still write a redemption chapter? Or is the Simmons saga officially coming to an end? Let me know your take in the comments, because this league is a way of surprising us when we least expect it. If you think Ben Simmons' fall from grace was wild, wait till you see how deep this goes in my last video. The NBA ain't just about talent. It's about narratives, money, and power plays behind the scenes, and sometimes the game might be rigged. Click here to see the shocking truths that'll make you question everything you thought you knew about the league. Trust me, you don't want to miss this one. Peace.